With head coach Ryan Craig, Coach, this is a game that felt very playoff-like in style, and your team found a way in the third period to come out on top. Just your overall thoughts on how your team managed to find a win tonight.
Proud of our group. I thought it was kind of a game as a staff, we had talked about wanting to play here at some point. We've scored lots of goals lately. Can we handle a tight, low-scoring game where you have to grind it out, you have to stay with it against a good hockey team, and that's a good hockey team over there. They well structured, check very well, defend very well, and so for us, how the game played out is probably a real good scenario for us moving forward. Especially, the response. We didn't blink once they got the power play goal there to go up 1-0. I thought our game got even better as it went on.
In games like this, where it's so evenly matched for long stretches, special teams can be the difference. Both of your special teams, both sides of it, have been electric for several weeks now, and that has to be a great comfort to know that can be the difference maker in games for you guys.
Well, it was tonight when you think about it, right? The 5-on-3, we come through. Corms makes a great shot there. No panic to them. They knew they had time. Even had to go back and break out and come back in. And then the penalty kill, having to dig in on that situation. Real good play by Cogs to Brabs, who backs their guy in and is able to shoot through the screen. So, and then you mix in the 5-on-6 goal, so pretty much a special teams night. So, but like I said, I thought everybody contributed to the win, from Riley McKay out with the fight to get us going early. Carl was solid again. That was a real good team win.
Shorthanded goals in back-to-back games now. Jakub Brabenec gets it tonight. There's been so many players to compliment of late, but Jakub Brabenec is a point-per-game player over the last 10 or so. What's the multitude of things that he brings?
Well, he slotted up in the lineup tonight with Kai being out. But Brabs has really come back from injury, motivated. He's always been dedicated. I think he's grabbed hold of. He's found a good line there with Moose and Flemmer. They've given us a bit of an identity on the lower half. Us being four centers deep is very important for our hockey team. We've seen it. Brab slides up as the games go on. He's been on the power play a little bit. He's been a mainstay on the penalty kill. So he's really, his game is rounding into form. He may have played one of his best games tonight as a Silver Knight.
The 5-on-3 goal for Lukas Cormier, who you get back in the lineup tonight, of course, is huge. You guys have drawn 21 5-on-3s this season. What does that say about not just the execution of the power play goal scoring wise, but just I imagine that the battles that you guys win when you're a man up?
Well, I think a little bit of it is probably those battles, right? You think of probably how you're drawing them. It's probably a puck off a side wall looking to attack, or an entry where you're trying to drive them back. So that's, we'll take them when they're there. At this time of year, they usually dwindle down, as do power plays, but it's important we're ready to go when we get one, and we were tonight.
You got 10 games left in the regular season. Just, what you guys are playing so well. Like, how do you keep this going? And do you guys kind of see that light at the end of the tunnel of the playoffs, which is something that we haven't seen here for a couple of years?
We're talking about keep climbing and keep pushing. I think we don't talk about that. We have to take care of our own business, which is now moving on to Milwaukee in the weekend there. I've said it before, we're going to finish up a stretch of 14 games in 24 days here once we get through Saturday night in Milwaukee. So we wanted to make sure we're focused on our day-to-day habits and details. It's led to some good results. We're not going to look too far ahead with that, but yeah, we know where we are in the standings. We know what's at stake every night in this division. Obviously it's a very tight division, competitive division. It has been for the 3 years I've been here, and it's not going to change.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, guys.
With Jakub Brabenec, Jakub, we're approaching playoff season, and this team intends to play playoff hockey. This game felt playoff style. How was it when you guys finding a way in the third period?
It was a great game. We played really good defensively, and scored a first goal in power play and shorthanded in PK. So that's been huge, and just have to keep going and make the playoff.
You guys have been scoring a lot of goals lately, 6 goals, 7 goals. How fun is it to play in a game like this where the margin is so tight and you guys are able to take a lot away from the other team offensively?
Yeah, it's awesome. I think every guy here is just super confident to play with the puck, and we're kind of lucky, and the puck's getting in, so that's the main thing, and we just have to stick with it and keep going.
You had the game-winning goal shorthanded. A puck you chose to let rip from high in the zone. What were you processing as you made your decisions?
You know, we knew they played 5 forwards, the power play, so we said before a game that if we're gonna have the chance to go and do offense, we're gonna try it. So I just got the puck from Cox and it was 1-on-1, and I just tried to shoot it and it went in. So
over the last almost third of the season, the power play has been over 30%, and the penalty kill's been up around 87, 88%. How much of a difference maker is it for this group when you're in these kinds of trench match games, when your power play, your penalty kill can be the difference?
You know, it's huge. Like I said, we getting ready for playoffs, when that's going to be the huge factor to, you know, win the games or defend the game. So we just try to stick with it and do whatever coaches say, and it's working. So we just have to keep going.
30 points out of the All-Star break for this group. That's the most in the American Hockey League. Can you put your finger on exactly what's had you guys catch fire over the last month?
I actually have no idea. Just, you know, like I said, the guys are confident. Everybody's having fun to come to the ring every morning, and, you know, we're like big brothers having fun together, and it's awesome to hang out outside the ring as well. So, yeah, it's been awesome.
How much are you looking at the standings too, seeing what the other teams are doing around you, and just seeing how high of a position that you guys maybe can attain in the division standings?
I mean, we know it's close, but we just try and focus on our game and, you know, try to push as high as we can and win the game. So that's the main thing.
Thanks, Brad.
Thank you.
With Lukas Cormier, Lukas, a few days out of the lineup, recovering from injury, you come in and you score a big power play goal. That's a pretty good way to hop back into action.
Yeah, it was good to be back after a couple games. It's nice to get the win tonight against a good team. Team played well. It's kind of a playoff style atmosphere, so it was fun out there, and yeah, it's good to get out on top.
You scored 5-on-3. Obviously, there's a lot of room to maneuver. Just take us through what you were reading, as because you took a lot of ice before you let the shot go. Yeah,
I was just trying to take my ice, and I was actually looking to pass it, but then I saw opening in the net, so I took the shot.
Did you notice that the goalie was without a stick, and was that a factor too? It's like, hey, we need to score if the goalie doesn't have a stick.
Yeah, for sure. We all saw that the stick went in the corner, so that was part of it.
What's it been for this power play over the last third of the season is around 35%. I mean, it's far and away the best in the American Hockey League. What kind of confidence does that give you guys, especially when you need a goal situationally and the power play comes about? Yeah, every time we have a power play, we know we have a good chance to score. We got two good units that can put the puck in the net and have been putting the puck in the net, so it's nice to see that, and it's fun to play with those guys out there. We've had a lot of opportunity to talk about how well this team has been playing over the last month and a half, but this is a game against the number one team in the Pacific Division, and a game that felt like a playoff game stylistically. How happy are you guys with the result, but also the way you played in this style of game? Yeah, I think we've played well against that team all year. We haven't got the results lately against them, but it's always been close games, and it's nice to finally get one. When you look at the course of the last few weeks, again, there have been a lot of games you guys have scored 6 goals, 7 goals, and won that way. But you've proven against good teams that you can also win these grudge match type games too. Yeah, that's good. I mean, I think that's a sign of a good team that we can win any different way. So yeah, it's nice to have that, and we know we can compete with anyone in this league at this point. So we just want to keep it going and finish the year strong and have a good playoff run, hopefully.
What's it like for you because you've been with this team for a few years now, and it's been some rough years, but this is a year that you guys are actually doing very well and pretty high in the standings. Just the fun around the team and just your time here compared to years past.
Yeah, well, it's a lot. The atmosphere is always better when you win than lose. Even this year, I mean, any team when you lose a game, everyone's down. If you win a game, everyone's up and having fun. So we want to keep winning, and that's what we play hockey for.
And Lucas, Carl Lindbaum is now 12-0-1 out of the All-Star break. We all know that Carl is the number one goaltender in the American Hockey League, but do we maybe sometimes take for granted just how good he is?
Yeah, he's great out there. Every time he's in the net, we know we have a chance, even if we have an off night. And luckily, we've been playing good too lately. But it's always nice to have him back there.
Lots of haircuts in this locker room for picture day yesterday. Who cleans up the best?
I think Davo was always looking pretty sharp.
Thanks, Morris.
Thanks.